Welcome to the Boss Experience, the podcast that gives you actionable tips and strategies to start your business. And I'm your host, Michelle Davis. Let's get started. Welcome to another episode of the Boss Experience podcast. My name is Michelle Davis and I'm your host. And in today's episode, I am interviewing Kareen Brown. And Kareen Brown is CEO of Invisible Imagery Films. And she is a writer, director, videographer, and all around creative. And she also has a little bit of musical background as well, but I'll let her get into that. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about the importance of being prepared when it comes down to getting in front of a camera, your branding videos, and being prepared for video in general. And I'm here with an expert. So before we get into the nuts and bolts of what it means to be prepared, Kareen, let's learn a little bit about you. When was the first time you thought like, oh my God, video is life. I love the camera. I love being a creative. I love, just letting my creativity shine through.
Well, first and foremost, hello everyone. I'm happy to be here and I'm happy to share all these gems with you. So,
Awesome.
The first time I felt that way, I must say, was the first time I brought someone's vision to life. I started out not charging anyone for anything. I just wanted to build my portfolio, get my feet wet, show and prove that I could do this for monetary value. And, sitting down, having a consultation with a friend, figuring out what it is they were trying to accomplish, and just going out there, doing the production, coming back, doing the edit, and seeing it come to life and, getting all that gratitude from them as a customer. It was just like, wow, yeah, this is it. I know how to do this. Before I knew the technicals, I knew how to accomplish a vision. I knew how to tell the story. I knew how to get the end result. And that was when I knew. I was just like, yeah, this is a thing. I need to grow. I need to embellish on that.
What was your first story? Like, what was the first story you brought to life?
Oh, the first one.
And how old were you at that time?
You
Were you a
know, I must
teenager?
say it was actually one for myself for a song that I created called A Walk Down Flatbush. It was my first attempt for myself as a short film music video. And to me, it was great. Everyone liked it. This was before I even had the techniques down pat. I just knew what I wanted to see. Yeah, it's called The Walk Down Flatbush. It's on YouTube. It's about like 10 minutes long, but it's one song. The song is about 3 minutes long. And I created a storyline around the song, around the words,
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah.
And so for the audience may not know this, but you're born in Jamaica,
Born in Kingston.
raised in Brooklyn, New York, and that's where the whole, walk down Flatbush comes from, and you now live in LA. So what was the inspiration around just walking down Flatbush? Was it about the neighborhood? Like, what was it about?
It was revolving around a friend that I had in junior high school. And we all veered off into our high schools and our different lives. And I found out he was shot and killed on a rooftop in Brooklyn near the school that we all used to play basketball after school. And it hit me deep, man. I was just like, these streets are rough. And I was like, man, people don't understand. If only you could take a walk down Flatbush. If only you could really feel what it's like to live in New York, in the real New York,
And not Times Square.
And not Times Square, not the lights and the glamour and the tourist attraction, but in the real neighborhoods and, the adversities that we face, the cold killings, and it just really motivated me to share a part of his story and to tap into other stories in the streets that no one was really looking into like that.
Mm-hmm. So this was your first time you picked up the camera and you just wanted to put into video form what you were feeling. So that was kind of like your first experience creating. And how did you get from there to creating your company? because you're not just the CEO. You're like you're doing the writing and a lot of the work behind the scenes as well.
Yeah. So from there, I realized how many hats I wore that day. And I was just like, okay, in order to be an artist, you have to stay consistent. And it would be easier if you had a team. And I had like one or two people that was always willing to help me out, but they weren't really knowledgeable of equipment and stuff like that. So we'd always have to teach each other and build and grow. But I'm like, man, it'll be different if there was a team built. So just my company thrived off my frustration as an artist on trying to find directors and trying to find these people that were professional. And I noticed really quickly, a lot of people just own a camera. It's so
Mm-hmm.
easy to own one. It's so easy to just say, yeah, I'm gonna make some extra bucks. But when it comes down to the mastering of the craft, no one is putting in that much time to really study it. They're just doing it. It just pushed me to be the change that I wanted to see in that aspect of, you have an artist, they're serious about their work and they want a product and they want exactly what they want, not what you feel like giving them or your interpretation of what they asked for, exactly what they want. And I wanted to become that director. And that's where my company came about. I started putting my knowledge to work. I started gaining the trust of artists that I performed with. And it turned out great. And it just word of mouth spiraled from there, and it built its own buzz very organically. And it was great.
So for simple videos, yes, you can just grab your iPhone, you can just, have a friend film it, but what goes into really producing a really good video? Because I think as entrepreneurs, we need to get into the mindset, maybe not in the beginning, but you need a really good brand video. There's times that you need a professional video. The iPhone thing ain't going to cut it. So, what are some of those times, in your opinion, and what actually goes into actually creating that sort of video?
I'll start with, well, one of those times would be when you get to a point in your career where you want more. You see that vision of your company becoming more than just a he say she say, but like a corporate name. You don't want to fight for clients, you don't want to search for it, you want people to just hit you up and be ready to work and want you to fulfill their vision. In order to do that, you need a professional look. You need
Mm-hmm.
to attract people on that level. So in order to do that, you need people with the knowledge of that level, with the knowledge of how to approach that level. And that's kind of where you separate yourself from I do this to I really do this, and I'm trying to target a bigger clientele.
Or that
Um,
high ticket clientele, because a lot of people like to throw that around, but they don't want to do the high ticket work. Yeah, you have to step up your game. Yeah.
mhm, step up your game. And it was a two-part question. What was the second part?
The first part was types of videos you would need, when you want to level up and up your game, and you mentioned, when you want to put yourself out there so you can attract the right people. And the second part is what goes into actually
Oh,
putting a video together.
pre-production. This goes back to planning.
Mm-hmm.
So pre-production in the production world is more vital than the actual production, because if you're not prepared for the success, you can't accomplish it. All right. So the lighting, the knowing what you need. Do I have enough? Because when you shoot, when you're out there, you only get one chance to get it right. There's no, hey, could you come back next week? We kind of missed something. No, time is money. So you have one chance to do it right. You have one time frame to get it right. There are no do-overs. I can't stress that enough. So just planning. For example, pre-production consists of having meetings, fully understanding what the client is requesting, and knowing, doing your research on what you need to fulfill those requests. Can you do the job? Did you charge enough? Do you have enough to invest into this project in order to have your gains, as well as not go over budget and don't have any gains, as well as, you know, giving them exactly what they asked for? Are you ready to succeed? And that's a major point, because you can be out there, you can know how to shoot, you can know how to put it together, but if you don't have those shots, there's nothing to put together. So yeah, just planning it out. extensive planning.
Right. And I think, you brought up a good point, and people like to hem and haw about price, but if you want quality, you have to pay for quality.
That's right.
And yeah, just like we want people to pay us high quality fees, we have to be willing to pay the same and pay people what they're worth. So the one thing I've noticed just in my coaching work, when you talk about being prepared, is you have those clients that it's like, you hired me, this is your business and your project, because they seem like they don't want to do the work that's involved. They don't want to do the meetings. They don't realize this is a process. This isn't something that's, I need you to do the job. Like I can't I can't run your business for you. Just like you can't shoot you're shooting the video, but you can't capture their vision if they don't share it with you. Have you worked with a lot of entrepreneurs or mainly musicians?
I work with a lot of entrepreneurs.
What is the biggest struggle you see entrepreneurs coming? Like they call you up, they say, Kareen, I want video production work done. I want a brand video. I want, my brand popping. I want, I need to take my brand to the next level. What are some struggles you see, or, some of the things you see or mistakes that you see entrepreneurs making when it comes down to preparing to work with a professional, particularly when you're talking about, video work?
Money. They want to pay the cheapest price for the top dollar quality. I think the biggest misconception is I could do it on my own, or I could just do it on my phone. Sometimes they result to that. Oh, it's just a promo. We live in the social media age. We could just record it and put it out there. It's nothing. You're going to get what you put out. So if you put out a cheap little Instagram promo, you're going to get someone that wants to spend what you look like you put out. So you have to keep that in mind. Put out top dollar to gain top dollar. That's how it works. So a lot of people, they want the final product, but they're afraid to pay that much for it. They always seem like, oh, I know a guy, and they fall back into that hole of this costs too much, or you just don't want to pay for the worth.
And it's an investment.
Get the same thing. Yeah, it's an investment. You have to invest and be willing to invest. Just trust that you're working with the right people.
Even doing, the Boss Experience podcast, I've learned a lot. And this is over Zoom. It's not just like we sit in front of, I put up the computer and we're just going to chat. I mean, I invested. I bought the right equipment. I learned that there's different angles, which, isn't so much of a factor because, with COVID, we're doing Zoom. But like if I ever did in person, you're talking about different angling. It's not just one camera. You have to have a few cameras. So I really did the research to really figure out, when that time comes and I'm interviewing people in person, what does that really take? And I think people, they want to get stuff done, but they don't want to do the work and they don't want to do the research and they don't want to invest the money. And I think anytime you're in business, you have to invest the money and you have to be prepared, to work with a professional. So, I want to go back to a previous question where we talked about what goes into putting a video together, and we talked about, the pre-production part and, people being prepared. What do you actually need to know from them to even capture their vision? Like, what do they need to come to the table with for you to be able to capture the vision of what they want in, whether it's a brand video or promo video, whatever kind of video they're putting together?
It's important to know what they're willing to invest, what they have to work with. A lot of people, I tend to see that they want to look like the videos on BET and they have all these special effects and everything. When it comes down to it, they're like, yeah, if you could do this and you could do that. I'm like, yeah, we can surely do it. This is something that either I have to create or, use my resources and bring that to the right person to create it, or purchase something to create it. There's an investment made to do all these extravagant things. So when people just think they could tell you this is what I want, and then they can get the same thing for the same dollar amount, it's crazy to me because it's like you want these things, they cost they cost money to make. Like these artists are putting top dollar into every single person that doing their music video to hope that they get an award or something. But, you know, their legacy lives on with the highest quality product they could get at that time. And to me, that is the biggest thing. Just wanting to look like a superstar and not having that superstar budget.
Right. And I think, I did a podcast episode around business planning. And just like you're incorporating all of the different expenses and all of your goals, in your business plan, you need to factor in media.
Yeah.
We're in a media age right now, and people are not planning properly for media. And at some point, you have to step up your game. You have to, you can't create the same content that everyone else is creating. You have to stand out. You have to stand out in some way.
And also, a lot of things that people don't think about is the post. So after you do have your product, it's like you said, the sharing part. It's like, okay, what do you do with it afterwards? Do you have a budget for that marketing? Do you have a budget to get it out there to the world? You know, when we think about, oh, I want to do a new visual or put out a new project, it doesn't end at the product. Now you got to share it, and that's a whole nother budget. So, I mean, if you have that, you know, mindset prior, you'll be ready to just, you know, you get that budget together for the entire thing, then you're ready to roll. If not, then you're still at an awkward standstill once you have your product. So it helps to think about the end goal.
Absolutely. And that all goes into business planning. You need a budget, and you need to really kind of lay out what are your expenses. So I would just advise, anyone that's listening to this podcast. So just like, it's out with the old, in with the new in terms of mindset. So you want to think, how much are you putting away for media? How much are you putting away, for services like video? Are you at the point in your business where you have the money and it's time for you to invest in video services, with a professional like Kareen? You went to school and you learned to get better at what you already knew.
It
Yeah.
was important for me to make sure I am putting my best foot forward and giving myself the best chance to have the life that I want. You know, you can do it on the side, you can play with it if you want, but like at some point you have to realize, okay, I can't waste time. If this is what I want to do, I need to go full-fledged and go hard, you know. And yeah, I had to do that for myself, and it's been bringing in tremendous blessings just to have the knowledge to back it up, the degree to back it up, the portfolio to back it up. I had my starting point, but I wasn't content with just that. I could have been, you know, there's tons of people you can work with, especially on the indie scene. You know, so many artists need videos. Video is a big market. You don't have to want more. But if this is your life, you should. You should aim for what you want overall, not where you're at currently. Always aim higher.
And I
And
talk about that a lot, because people will say the same thing they say about video services is the same thing they say about coaching services. Oh, you're too expensive, and it's like you have to invest in yourself, you have to invest in your business, and you have to be willing to grow your knowledge. So, with your company, can you share with the audience, like, what does your company do? Like, what kind of services? You're based in LA. Are you just doing work in LA? Do you do work, across the country?
so our company puts together visual content for everyone, whether it's an event where we're doing a recap or just capturing the moment, whether it's a wedding, baby shower, birthday party, music video, short film. You have a script that you want to put together, and you need a production team that knows how to do that, because capturing something and putting together screenplays, that is like two different ball games. So the knowledge to be versatile and all those things. But we create content for everyone. We capture for everyone. We want to give the best quality at the more affordable and reasonable prices, because coming from where I started, I understand. And I'm here to help people that don't have these gigantic budgets. If you do have a gigantic vision, I am here to help you still accomplish that within your budget. And to give you the knowledge, you need to understand why we can or can't do certain things and solutions on how we could still achieve what you're looking for. And we are based in LA now. We started in New York. However, we do fly out to all our clients, whether you're in Virginia, we've done work in DC, we've done work in Ohio, Jamaica, wherever we need to go, we get there. And people, when they work with us, they want to keep working with us. We give them that good experience. We pride ourselves in that. So we always have to fly out when they're ready, and we're here for it. That's what we're here for.
And you mentioned you have a team, so it's not just this one woman that's, capturing the vision and doing all the marketing and doing all of that too, because you do some element of helping them with their marketing too, right?
For sure. We do have a team working with Rosetta Tate right now. She handles our marketing, and she has the knowledge that the clients need to get their product pushed out afterwards. I'm more so of, here's how to do it. I'll accomplish it for you. I know how to put it together. Here it is. And she's like, okay, here's what's next, and it did start with just me, but fortunate for me, I understand that wearing all those hats, like, I can, but you shouldn't. Focus on directing the talent. That's the most important thing. Just focusing on that on set. So it is good to have my key players there working with me so I could just focus on one thing.
Now, we talked about next level, right? So you actually recently realized your dream through the creation of your first sitcom, right?
Yes, First and Last. That's the title.
That's the title of it, not your last sitcom, but just the first and last.
That's
the
just
name of
the
it.
title. Yeah.
Yeah. So can you talk about how that came about? Because I think this is the perfect example of what it means to level up. You started off, you had this vision that you wanted to be a filmmaker, and you made it happen. You didn't just buy a camera and said, oh, okay, I'm just going to take pictures. You went to school, opened your own company, and now you took it a step further and you're like, I want to do a sitcom. I want to write my own show. And so that is what you actually did. And can you talk a little bit about that, what the show's about, where people can see it?
Yeah, sure. So First and Last, a sitcom. It's called First and Last because the premise of it is we have a young kid. His name is Andre. He's a younger brother. He gets kicked out of the military and he ends up living with his older sister, Michelle. And they just lost their parents. So he's kind of like stuck with her for now. And he's overprotective due to going through all that trauma. So every guy that she tries to date, their first date always ends up being their last date if it's left up to him. And that's the comedy in it. You gotta kind of have that menaced little brother, but he means well, but he's ruining everything. And that kind of developed from an idea I had about two friends growing up, and the guy just starts to like his friend's sister, and just through criticism and feedback, it kind of developed into First and Last, a different kind of family dynamic. And being able to take constructive criticism is so important. Don't take offense to it, hear it out, be an open mind, and you'll be surprised how much you can bloom on something. And that's literally what happened with this script. I had about months of revisions.
Wow.
Seriously, to where the cast was just like, a new version again. And I'm just like, yeah, but it was better every time. And they kind of just rolled with it. And it turned out to be very funny. We got into the Culver City Film Festival as an official selection. I believe we're going to continue accomplishing great things. We've met so many people and been able to just speak about it and network in these places where they do TV. They're big producers, and this is where we're targeting. So, we're on the road, the right path to where we're trying to go. And it feels good. Coming from a passion to being able to stand in the room with people that really live like this. It's not just an idea. It's not just a thought. This is someone's real life. And it could be yours too if you want it bad enough.
And with your sitcom, so is it one episode or is it going to be a series? What is the plan for first and last?
So far, we've put out the pilot, which is the first episode. And based on the feedback, people want more. We've been working on more episodes. And once we get into production, we'll have about 4 episodes shot already. So I don't want to just jump into the second one. I want to make sure I have at least 4 or 5 ready to shoot and just go straight on into production. So I'm being really patient with it. But once we get the ball rolling, it's rolling.
And
So
that's a perfect example of planning.
there you go.
Yes.
I could have, because I had the second episode written a long time ago, because I wrote more than the first than what we shot. But it's just like, why stop there? Have a good amount, have a couple episodes and then start. And you'll produce more in a short period of time. That's the goal.
Yeah. And so whether you're doing podcasting, whether you're shooting your own, sitcom, it's, or whether you're just launching your business, you have to plan and you have to sit and reflect on what your vision is so that you can accomplish what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah. And after every shoot, after every attempt, analyze the day, what worked, what didn't work, what could you have done better? What happened? Why did it go wrong? What could you do next? How could you prevent that? Have these thoughts in mind so that you don't make the same mistakes twice, or that the same scenarios, it's almost impossible to repeat itself. And if it does, you know exactly what to do when it happens. It kind of like you have to go forward in that progression.
First of all, people wait until the new year to actually reflect, and you should be reflecting all year long. All year long. And the other problem is that people they keep ending up in the same place they were last year. And so unless you invest, unless you set out a plan and a vision for where you want things to go in your business, you're going to keep ending up in the same spot. You're going to keep ending up in the same spot. You have to have vision. You have to take action. You have to have a plan, and you have to set out your goals. Bottom line.
So every year, my goal is to make more than I made last year.
Yes, that should be everybody's goal.
Every year, everybody's goal. It should. Don't be so content, be uncomfortable. It's okay. Because you serve a purpose on this earth, and you should strive to achieve that purpose. Tap into whatever it is, because when you do, it's very rewarding.
Right. And the goal is not necessarily to do more, because people think, I got to do more to make more. No, you just got to really refine what you're doing, because a lot of people are doing way too much,
Play your position. See, a lot of people are doing too much because, like I said, they want to wear all the hats. That goes back to budget. It goes back to not wanting to invest in what you need to get it done, not wanting to pay people. You want favors. No, you got to level up. You got to hire folks. You got to be more realistic with it, and just know that it's going to bring more back.
And the same people that want to try and get services for free will curse you out if you ask them to drop their prices for their service. So they just need to stop. They just need to, just stop.
We all should practice valuing each other. I think at the core, bare minimum, if we value each other, then we'll understand, even on a simple note, that no one should work for free.
Exactly.
Okay? Let's not enslave each other. Let's break that chain. We all have bills. We all have means to sustain, help each other sustain. One hires you and then you hire them back. Just keep the money flowing, support each other's business. Even if it's not a business, it might be something you're just trying to accomplish. Hey, I need a photographer for a party. Don't ask me to do it free. I got to get there. I got to, I have to put in my investments to make it happen. So,
and profit. And you deserve to profit from your work.
Your time, you don't get your time back. Pay me.
Yeah, exactly.
You could have been doing something monetary instead of your party. Just keep that in mind. But I'm choosing to do your party, so make my time, valued. And at a small scale, it's just it could be so simple. We could uplift each other so well, but it's that, do it yourself, or that, do me a favor, that keeps us so stagnant as a people.
Exactly. Yeah. And we have to get in the mindset of if we want to grow, we got to invest.
Yep.
What are some final words you want to give the audience and tell people where they can find you?
Final words. If you want to be a creative, like I said, plan, and have a plan for your plan for your plan. Even if you don't need the knowledge at that point and you're like, man, I'm over prepared. It's never over prepared. You don't want to be under prepared. So I'd rather be over. I'd rather just have the gems waiting to throw them out than not even have thought of the possibilities of something going wrong or someone not showing up, or, just anything, the weather, all these unpredictable aspects. Just think about it and pay people for their time. Everyone remembers that, and they'll love working with you. And, when someone loves working with you, that's like the fruit of your labor, because when someone else needs something, you're the first person at the top of their mind. Oh yeah, I had a great experience with Kareen. Yeah, you should hit her up. It's not expensive. She got you. That's what I do it for. The fact that someone can have a great review or just outlook on me and anything I do to someone else, positive, that is more rewarding than the monetary, because at that point, the money done already got reinvested. It's gone already. But that good experience, that lasts forever. It really does. And that's where your business flows from. Somebody that's what makes it lucrative. That's what makes it continue to grow. All right. So hold on to that. Those are some real gems right there.
Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of good quotes out of this episode.
care about your client's experience before you care about anything else. That is number one. If you don't take anything else from that, care about what people think of you. Handle them professionally, have some respect. No matter if they get aggressive, keep your composure. Make sure that it is the best. Customer service is number one. And analyze this stuff. All these people that we work for on our 9-to-5s, they got these core values and their structure set up. It's the same thing. We just don't see it as that. Take these structures and put it into yourself. And you'll be surprised, when you start caring about little stuff and you start accommodating and talking to people with respect, it becomes more lucrative. It really does. So practice that and you'll be all right, and be true to your passion. Don't just try to do it because someone else is doing it. Make sure you're good at it. And if you're not that good at it, but you like it, put in the time to learn it. It'll show. The work will show for itself, and the work will come on its own, just off of, people talking about it, people seeing your work. Keep that in mind. It's very important. Don't focus on the money. Focus on you being the best you. And that's what brings the money. And, in order to find us, you just got to go on YouTube, Invisible Imagery Films. We're also on Instagram at Invisible Imagery Films, and Facebook, same, Invisible Imagery Films. You can email us for any bookings at invisibleimageryfilms@gmail.com. And we'll respond right back. We'll set up a consultation. We'll get to know you, get to know your vision, and we'll go from there.
And if someone wanted to say, like, that sounds great, what she's talking about, where can I see her work, this portfolio she's talking about? Where can they go and see some of the videos you've produced?
At YouTube, just type in Invisible Imagery Films on YouTube and everything will come up right on the channel.
Including also, the sitcom First and Last.
First and Last is actually the first thing on there. So shout out to the cast. It's such amazing feedback and comments, and check it out. It's a dramedy. I doubt that you'll never laugh, Even the most stone cold person would be like, man, let me look at this. I don't know. You'll like it. It's cool. Yeah, it's on YouTube. Invisible Imagery Films.
Awesome. So I just want to thank you for your time, Kareen. This has been wonderful, a wonderful experience sitting down with you and just, talking about the importance of planning. It's been, this kind of falls into everything I've been discussing in the last few episodes. And I really think that people need to do more of it. They don't do enough of it. Everybody wants to rush into everything and get, A1 results, and it doesn't work like that. You have to plan, and you have to put in the work, and you have to take action. So thank you so much for joining me for the Boss Experience podcast. I appreciate you. Thanks for contributing to this episode.
Thank you
Take
for
care.
having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for listening to the Boss Experience podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and watch my next episode. Take care and be well.